Our Kwaba SI Ediban News News, always the best news in town. In same Brunana say Koso Ebio Ewo Ghana Amai Muhammad Catcher say for politics and governance there. Odin News are now there. Asem. We bring you all news and Ebio Sono Yedi AC. Amai want also in Ansho Brown and Musa to me Akabi. Yenti and Simbia AC ni Humba Bia Susa at the bottom and so Ebefa. Ghana had politics is about NPP, NDC, and all other political parties are a trenchia waha. And now what in some say, what now what in some say, now in some be essay. I'm a per se, you bet ye a 9.4 second comedian who anum. You bet ye in some no about you be near the adventure and so about. Press out the comment. Everybody said a baby to me, Unia King and so dear man before that, no so no subscribe to your channel, no. Name the news, and some all other relevant news if a politics from our Ghana. Yentin me emergency, na first order adventure and so ever to Yentimra, Yaba de Rubia near Masaka.
Like I am.
Musa Danquah?
Yes.
He's not a statistician?
He's a chartered accountant. So we are all chartered accountants.
Okay.
So the bottom line.
Is there something about chartered accounting and polls?
So we deal with numbers. So that's the most important thing. So accounting is actually about numbers. Finance is about numbers. So we're actually good with numbers.
Do you know him?
I don't have any relationship with him, but I know him.
So we shouldn't be worried that you don't have a background in statistics and you've conducted polls?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm a researcher. We do a lot of research work. And I've done research work in the industry and I've done research work in academia. So I have both industry background and academic background. So
I'll be inviting you to the touch screen, but before then, let me show viewers what we're dealing with over here. Viewers, thank you for staying with us. Yeah, let's get on to this. So we have two clear polls now, which are giving us varying outcomes, and they're all looking at the numbers, except that their database, their research base in terms of the number of people they poll is slightly different, or perhaps not significantly different. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, to the left of the screen here is Musa Danquah, my friend. You remember him? You remember Musa Danquah? You do, isn't it? All right. This is Musa Danquah, and this is Doc Duya in the studio. So on Mahamadou Bawumia, for instance, Musa Danquah puts Mahamadou Bawumia at 57% from all the polls that he's conducted, including the latest one. We're dealing with the latest one. But Musa Danquah had consistently had Mahamadou Bawumia up on the agenda, on the table. So he puts Musa Danquah at 57%. Dr. Duya puts Mahamadou Bawumia at 40%. Is that a best case scenario, Doc, or is it a worst case scenario?
It's a worst case scenario.
We'll be discussing that best and worst case. So for Dr. Duya, he presents the data in a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. I don't know whether Musa Danquah does that, but he didn't show us that on his page. What he showed us is Mahamadou Bawumia 57%, and Dr. Duya has Mahamadou Bawumia at 40%. Kennedy of Japan, Musa Danquah has him at 29%. And then he has Kennedy Japan here as 44%. And then Dr. Osaya Oduchu, Musa Danquah has him at 6%. Dr. Duya has him as 3%. Dr. Brian Achampong, Musa Danquah has him at 5%. Dr. Duya has him at 6%. Kwabena Eje Japan, Musa Danquah has him at 3%. And Dr. Duya has him at 1%. Musa Danquah has something called undecided voters. Did you get it? That's not reflected in our presentation here. But Musa Danquah has undisclosed and undisclosed and what? Undecided voters. We don't. That's not reflected in the. But let's see whether this comes up to 100%. 57 plus 29. What's it going to be? That's 86, I think. 86 plus 6 is going to be 92. 92 plus 5 is going to be 97. 97 plus 3 is going to be 100%. So I think that is the full. Here, there's no reflection here of undecided. Let's check out this one. Okay, 40 plus 44 is 84. 84 plus 3 is 87. 87 plus 6 is 93. 93 plus 1 is 94. Why is it short of 100, if I may ask?
6% for undecided and undisclosed.
Okay, you have 6% for undecided and undisclosed. Okay,
yeah.
So we're getting somewhere. So this is the discrepancy that we're going to try and... We can't resolve it, but we're just going to get into Dr. Duya's mind to understand how he came to the conclusion, but we want viewers to see that this is where we are. And this is the same figures put differently. Mahamadou Bawumia at 57%, for Musa Danquah Kennedy Ohene Japan at 29%, Osaya Oduchum at 6%, Brian Achampong at 5%, Kwabena Japan comes up the rear at 3%. And so, okay, it's time now for me to invite you, Dr. Duya. Come up the touch screen. Let's deal with the matters in toto, as they say. Okay, so So here are the candidates, Dr. Dua. Did you speak to any of them in terms of telling them you're doing a poll or indicating to them something about the results or something like that?
No, so I've not.
Do you know them?
I know them. I know them.
Who do you know better?
Who do I know better? So I know Engineer Kwabneje Japan. He was like a godfather figure for me.
Also, he knows you?
He knows me very well. Personally, he knows me. I know Dr. Yao because of Ashanti region. I know him. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, I was actually seen declaring for him during December, campaigning with video. And
you campaigned with Dr. Bawumia?
I campaigned for him.
You campaigned for him?
I joined the campaign.
The NPP campaign?
Yes, and I have videos online where I'm actually vouching for him in 2024 December. And it's online. I put it just this December.
Oh, I see. Oh, so you know him well then?
I don't have the personal relationship with him, but yes, I've worked for him.
Brian?
Brian, I don't have any relationship with him.
Brian is a lion of the Eko Mountains.
Yes.
Kennedy Japan?
I actually met him for the first time in person in December when we were campaigning for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. And that was just a campaign trail.
Oh, I see.
Yes, so I didn't have any personal relationship with him. And then he met me in July. I just returned from Harvard. And then there was a student SLC program that was happening on my campus, and he was a guest speaker. So it was him, the vice chancellor, and myself, plus 4 other speakers. And then that was the first time that he heard me speak. I didn't have any relationship with him at all, to July.
Okay, sample and data collection. Yes. So first tell us, what's a sample size, as they say in statistics?
Yes, so basically, if you look at the sample size, we are looking at the population. So as at 2023, the verified voters in 2023 was 204,893.
The delegates vote of the NDC, 204,000
yes,
people.
From the album, the official album. However, there is an amendment, but there is an ongoing verification for the new appointees, the former executives, the former appointees, and then the former executives, but they have not been added yet. So this one is as of 2023, and as of October, I put October there because there is a new addition that would be happening, but they're doing the verification. For the sample side, in August we did 20,000, which was 10%. And then for September and October, we did 26,000. Now, for percentage-wise, this is 12% for September, and we did 10% actually in August.
You spoke to 26,000 people.
So we sampled 26,150 delegates. Out of them, 6,282 were either unreachable or unavailable. Unreachable simply means that we called the number, I couldn't go through. Either the number was wrongly inputted, it was no longer being used. Unavailable, we got the person on the phone. But unfortunately, the person tells you, I'm at church, I'm at work, I'm not in a position to talk to you. So out of that, if you look at it carefully, 19,868 are the people that participated out of the 26,150. And we need to declare all of this for people to understand the entire process and how it was done. And then we had one...
So you spoke to 19,000?
19,800. So we did that between September 22nd to October 5th.
How many people were speaking to the 19,000?
So we had 120 volunteers, but we're having between 20 to 50 in a day that we're actively doing that.
And you spoke to 19,000?
19,000, yes. And I have the audios. And you know, some of these things are subject to scrutiny. So what I do is that, for a platform like yours, I don't think you just bring anybody without going through scrutiny. So the best thing that you do is to ask the person the process, do everything. And I play the audios for quality assurance. Unfortunately, for ethical reasons, we can't put the audios in the public domain. However, if anybody wants it for evidence purpose, anybody wants to verify the process, wants to see how we did the sampling, follow through everything, it is all there. And I don't mind. I've done that with about 8 journalists. They verified it. Today, where I was, I showed it to them, and I show it to everybody.
Oh, I see. You had journalists listen to the audios.
Yes, listen. That's we played for quality assurance purposes.
It's quite interesting. Yeah. Now, where did you draw the 19,000 from? Is it constituency, polling stations, Southern Ghana, Northern Ghana? How did you do it?
This was done for all the 16 administrative regions, and this was for all constituencies. Now, we did work for quota sampling. In simple terms, proportional. So, for example, if a constituency is about 1,400, another constituency is 400. You can't pick 100 here and 100 there. it will not be representative. So what we do is that if it is a 10% coefficient, it means that we are picking 140 for the 1,400, and we are picking 40 for that. So that will be representative.
So the representation by percentage will be the same across board.
Will be the same.
So if my constituency is 800 people, you are picking 10%, you pick 80. If another constituency is 600 people, you are picking 10%, you pick 60. So the numbers will not be the same, but the representation is about the same. Okay, excellent. So you have a maximum 5 minutes per interaction. What does that mean?
So what happens is that we give them a time frame, but they were asking 3 questions, so 3 major questions. The first question is that who did you vote for in 2023? In the primaries. And then the person will tell, I voted for candidate A. Then they come to 2026. Who would you vote for come January 2026? Because I'll vote the same candidate A. And then we ask the person, if you have a change of mind about your candidate and the other 4 candidates,
playing for your country,
where are you more likely to go if you are changing your mind?
And that one, we code it as the next best alternative. And that is where we use that one. So when we come to the best case and the worst case, I'll explain that one to you, details. So we make them spend maximum 5 minutes because sometimes you get people giving straight answers within a minute or 2. Sometimes you get people who are very passionate that would want to talk. We had somebody who spoke for 8 minutes and we had to just tell the person, it's okay, we have to move on to the next person. So we make sure that within 5 minutes so that we can achieve the targets that we set for ourselves.
Okay, so this is the basis. Now let's get into that. So this is our video 1, producer. This is the end of video 1, the basis of the research. Now let's get into it. Okay, so scenario construction.
Exactly. So for this one, because it's English, let's move on to the main table. Then I'll explain it. The numbers will make it easier for people.
This one?
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the worst case scenario, and this is the best case scenario.
What does that mean?
Exactly. So the worst case scenario for my model simply means the most realistic scenario. This scenario does not...
That's what best.
The worst.
Worst case scenario is the most realistic
scenario.
So worst case scenario outcome is more likely than best case scenario. Is that what you're saying?
The worst case scenario is actually the data we gathered from the people without knowing the undecided and undisclosed. So what it means is that we are getting 94%.
That's the worst case scenario.
That's the worst case scenario. Where the 94% have told us exactly who they are voting for.
But there is a group who have not told you.
There's a group who have not told us. And this is where I think online some people were saying that it doesn't tally. There's 192 here, there's 204. But they don't see the asterisks, they don't see the footnotes. And the footnote, I'm an accountant who like using footnotes a lot. So put asterisks there, number 1, number 2, and they will tell you to go and read the footnote. So the footnote here tells us the difference of the 6.
I will read that that controversial response, rebuttal, so that you can respond to viewers. I'll come to that. But hold on. So the best case scenario.
Yes. So I'm here to move to the best case scenario.
So the worst case scenario is the one that is without undecided voters and undisclosed voters.
Yes. So in that case,
hold on. So if you're polling 100 people, and 10 of them don't talk.
Yes.
The worst case scenario is over the 90, is the results from the 90.
Yes.
And the best case scenario is the results from when the 10 speak.
No. So what is actually happening is that for the worst case scenario, we have all the 100.
In worst case, you have all the 100.
All the 100.
Best
However,
case, you don't have all the 100.
I'm yet to even come to the best case. I'm still with the worst case. Once you understand, then I can proceed.
Okay, what's the worst case?
With the worst case scenario, with that 94%, what is actually happening is that 94% have told us exactly who they are voting for. Then there's 6%, which means 6 of them who are telling us, unfortunately, I can't tell you who I will vote for.
Or I haven't decided.
So that won't be undisclosed. The person is not comfortable telling us. And then there's those who are also confused about who do, and those are the undisclosed.
So that's best case scenario?
No, still with the worst case.
Worst case
scenario.
What's the best?
But now when we move to the best case scenario, there are actually 3 variables that come to play. Variable number 1 is the undecided. Variable number 2 is the undisclosed. Variable number 3 is the next best alternative. So what do we do with the undecided and undisclosed? So we had about 12,000 for people that were undecided and undisclosed. What do? We put that data together. And then we do not want to assume, so for example, I heard from one of the other posters, some other posters saying that a number of undecided or undisclosed people would vote for this person. We didn't want to assume. So we picked that data again. Instead of the very first person that called that constituency, we give it to another person, a different person, to call them and see if some of them this time will move from undisclosed to disclosed and move from undecided to decided. Then we'll give it to a third, to a fourth person. By the time we are done with the fourth person, out of the 12,000, we're having about 3,000 now revealing who they are going to vote for. Now, because we are dealing with sampling, that 3,000 can be, and because we get a pattern within that 3,000, we can now extrapolate from that 3,000 all the way to that 12,000 that is undecided and non-disclosed, and say that 60% of these people are for this candidate A, 30% are for this. Then we can now apportion it. So that's how come, if you look at it, on this table, I did not include the undecided and undisclosed. But when you look at the report, when we are, even on the next page with the regions, you see the undecided and undisclosed.
So how many of them, what percentage of them did you get to talk?
So actually what happened with it is that with the undecided and undisclosed, each one of them has a different variant. So we got 30% for undecided, and then we got 40% for undisclosed. Now, the undisclosed people, majority of them is about the confidence they have with who they are talking to. Once they get to that point, they realize, oh, it's not another candidate's camp calling to know. Once they get to know, there is no fear revealing who, they are more likely to quickly let you know. The undecided, they are still in the process of deciding about who they want to vote for. So those people, we had 30 and then we had 40.
When you are speaking to delegates in Zolo, do you speak Ewe? Do your people speak Ewe to them?
So that's very, so my personal assistant, Maxwell here, he speaks Ewe.
Okay.
And he and Emilia and other people who speak Ewe called those from Volta. And then we had to get somebody from the north. And all these audios I can review sometimes.
When you are speaking to delegates from Ladade to Point, do you speak in Ghana?
So we had to get one or two people, but most of the times when you speak English, it goes with them. Where we think we get to a barrier, then we bring in a special person that can speak that language.
When you are speaking to delegates in Ukugwa and Dukrom, do you speak Mente?
So those people, 3 English majority worked around. Where we had a challenge was with some parts of the north and some parts of Volta, and we had to get people to assist with that. But majority of the country, English 3 worked with them.
When you are speaking to delegates in Tamale North, do you speak in Dagbani?
So I think most of them, as far as Dagbani, we didn't have a problem with that. The English was okay with that.
So in the worst case scenario, you say what? You got 44% for Kennedy Japan.
Yes.
39% for Mahmoud Bawumia, 6% for Brian Achampong, and 3%. So when you statisticians say that I've spoken to 19,000 people out of a potential of 200,000 that are going to vote, and you are making an extrapolation and a prediction, for me, a layman, 19,000 is a whole world away from 200,000. Yes. How do you make the determination? Is it human behavior? Is it sociology that because we all speak a certain language, we are likely to vote in the same way? Is it because we all eat the same food, we are likely to vote? I don't understand it.
So what normally we say in research is, first and foremost, you state your biases, you state your limitations. And if you are stating your biases, the number one bias about some of this one is the non-response. The number one bias is that it's temporal, it's within a period. So this one is not predictive, it's a snapshot for September. So what is actually happening is that though we were able to talk to 19,000 people, there is homogeneity that we assume within the delegates. These are, number one, MPP people. Number 2, these are executives from the polling station all the way to the executives for the constituency. These are people that if you do random sampling and you get 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 randomly, you begin to have an idea where the majority of them, their mindset goes. So the first thing about research is that your sampling technique is very important. And how we do this is that make sure that, number one, it is representative, it is significant, and also ensure that you are getting it right with a random sampling so that there are no biases that will be. So for example, what we do is that we put it into the system, it pulls the random one out, then we get the album to get the face of who they are talking to. The reason why we use the album to give it to them to get the face is that if you're dealing with an adult, then you realize that for the adult, I would have to use this tone. You're dealing with a younger person so that you know who and how to approach the person.
Okay, man and woman you will know.
Yes,
but their ages you might not know from their names.
No, the ages are there. In the album, the ages are there.
Oh, the ages are there.
Yes,
so why do you need a photograph to determine whether it's old or young?
Oh, no. Sometimes some of the ages are wrong. So you can see some
You mean football age?
I don't know football age or data mistake or whatever, but you can see someone who looks like 50 and the age is 22. And I think maybe it was data input error or something. And these ones, anybody who has the Airborne can attest to that there are 1 or 2 errors in terms of data inputting that happens. Yeah.
So this is your 44% for Kenya
Yes.
Japan. N39 is not a prediction of what will happen in January.
No.
Is it an indication?
It's an indication as at September.
And
So
it could change by December.